All right, so we're here in Kansas City at Vahalla Press. We're gonna cruise inside, talk to Dan, see what's going on in there. We got a poster on press, so let's go check it out. Dan, what's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah, good, man. Right on.
I'll show you around.
Cool.
Well, I'll take you around. This is the office up here. This is kind of where all the magic happens before things go to press. But,
okay. Yep.
you know, we've got a few things up on the wall that we've
Totally.
printed in the past. And
Yep. This is cool. How long have you been in this building?
about 6 years.
6 years?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So we've kind of bounced around Kansas City a little bit.
Yeah.
At one point, we had a space down in the Crossroads, and we had like a gallery actually.
Oh, wow.
It was quite cumbersome to like run that and the print shop and everything. So, you know, you kind of just like adjust things as years go on and whatnot. So,
Absolutely.
we got like our output machine and kind of like films and some of the ones that we've been really proud of over the years that we've done. I've got Conan O'Brien, Neil Diamond, Sean Cliver, and Aziz Ansari's, and
when we sit down to chop it up and talk, I want to talk about this, the artist that you've worked with over the last, 18 years or however long it's been. It's
been awesome.
So I definitely want to dig into that.
Yeah.
What do we got in here? Is this your area?
Yeah, this is my space here.
Yeah,
kind
this
of
is cool.
You know, some of my old favorites. You know, a little chill area.
This is great.
Kind of some books and some snowboards I've done.
Yep. That's what I think is cool, is the fact that you're a designer printer.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of printers that are just straight up printers. Yeah. But you're a designer as well.
I think it's like an approach. It's like a mentality type of thing too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we sent you that. We're like, dude, there's a typo on this, and you're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, well, you know,
thank you
like
for catching that.
a lot of people have just been like, send it through. This is what they sent.
Absolutely.
Like, so you know, we try and take our time with things and really like kind of approach it as like this was ours.
Yeah.
We hope somebody just slow down and take a look at things.
Totally.
And,
yeah. That's good. That's
so
awesome.
yeah, if you guys want, we can kind of cruise down. I can walk you through the press floor, and you can kind of see like
let's do that.
Where the magic happens down there.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. So
this stuff, like,
this
shit always like just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how to work on this thing? Like,
yeah.
The full letterpress?
So this one's from 1980. We got this one set up as just a straight up foil stamper.
Okay.
So, you know, I could tear everything off of there and run it as ink, but like the amount of time to do that is just nuts. So we keep it as a foil stamper.
Cool.
Yeah, and then over here we actually have yours set up.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we got
a little poster.
Yeah, we went and we got a little head today. And we ran a little first color, so we got some gold laid down for you guys, and Chris and I'll throw a screen in here and throw the black down. You guys can get some little some images of those.
That'd be great.
You know, we ran some on some cool test paper too.
Yeah,
just
that's rad.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we can do like I think like 1,800 at one time, but you know, then you can start pulling things down and like cycling. But that's just like a lot of running around.
Yeah.
But you know,
cool, man. Very inspiring. I mean, I think everybody has realized that it's a piece of art. You know, a poster doesn't have to be a painting. Doesn't have to be, hand painted. Like a poster, when you're only making say 300 copies, like that is a piece of art. You know. Yeah. So.
And you know, it's limited edition, so it keeps your supply and demand kind of like in that collector's you know range, and it's good. So So here we are, chop up number 56. This time we're outside the studio in Kansas City, sitting down with Dan at Vahalla Studios.
You got it.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Right
on.
Doing
all right.
Thank you for having us out.
I'm glad you guys, told me you were in town.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it worked out great.
Yeah, it's cool.
Got a bourbon thing we're doing out here. We'll get into that. There'll be a chop up on kind of whiskey, bourbon, and what we're doing with that. We won't dig into that now, but it's what we're in Kansas City for, and we can't come to Kansas City without going to Valhalla.
Yeah, man, and barbecue.
We grabbed some.
But you guys already got some.
We grabbed some Joe's right after the airport. So yeah, it was a gas station / barbecue spot.
Yep. And it's funny, that place used to be chill until it like hit TV, and then like now it's like I don't know how long you waited, but you guys went a little early.
We did.
Now there's like a line out and like all the way down. It used to be like, let's go pop by Joe's for lunch, you know. And
yeah.
Like, so
not so
but
much.
I've been here for 30 years.
That's cool.
So
cool. Well, stoked to sit down. We finally met in person. I've known of Vahalla Studios. I was telling these guys, I think at least
14, 15 years,
Yeah,
even back in San
been
Diego.
around for a while.
Yeah, you guys have printed with the best and
Yeah.
posters for movies, music, festivals, you name it. You
Yeah.
name it. But you and I got to meet for the first time at Creative Works.
Yep.
Which was cool. Finally got to sit down.
Yep.
We did a quick pop-up chop-up. And
We did.
Yep, which was fun. So.
Yeah, because we were talking. I think that was one that Ty was talking a bunch of stuff. Ty
Yep,
Mattson,
he
and
was.
like you were kind of picking out some Ty posters that we've done over here.
Yep.
I mean, those were some of the big projects that kind of really, kind of catapult us and like more of like a in the design world as far as like, oh, these are printers, but they're designers. Like they, it's just a different approach to it.
I mean, that's what I dig about you and the studio is that you are a designer / printer. You know, where you do get a lot of printers that are like, I've been in the print industry my whole life. I've never done design, but you're kind of the opposite.
And it's cool. I mean, like I have mad respect for that too. And a lot of those guys know their craft. But when your printer's able to kind of like, approach things from a design standpoint and say like, well, we got to make these colors look good. Like, maybe the specs aren't quite right because at the end it's got to look good in person, and you got to be able to make that call. There's a lot of like, stuff that you go through in design, and that if you have that eye to that, you might call something out that without that experience you might not have. So
For sure.
I do my own work, and everybody that works for me is an illustrator or a designer in some capacity, and what they, I think, love about that approach to it is that like we get to print for all these really great artists, and like we secretly kind of take notes, and we're like, okay, well, I'm this guy's a pro, and I'm not gonna like maybe make that mistake when I do my work, so it's like you're kind of like by osmosis like learning from other designers, and you're kind of always putting that in your in your bag of tricks. So
because you're getting,
It's
the
great.
cool thing is you're getting the working files for everybody's poster.
Yeah.
The layered files, so like you said, you can.
well, let's hope they're
You
later.
can that's what we were talking about earlier. You're like, you'd be shocked.
But
we're,
honestly,
what we
like
get.
we're like wizards on the like pre-press end too. My one of my best dudes, Dustin Williams. You're familiar with his work.
he kicks ass.
Amazing illustrator and designer, and just probably one of. I mean, I'd go to bat for his pre-press skills over anybody out there. He's just a wizard with Photoshop. But you also kind of take all that experience of like actually printing things and then the design background, and it's like the perfect like mix, So, but yeah, he's great. Who would have thought a bunch of designers running presses and stuff?
Hey, it makes for beautiful posters,
Yeah.
beautiful art, and I mean, we were talking about it earlier. You've been doing this 18 years?
18. It'll be 18 the end of this month, actually.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's great.
I've got my eyes set on 20.
Do you? Yeah. Big party
We're
or
gonna
something.
have a party.
Yeah.
It's like
you
every
should.
year we're like, oh, we did 10. We're like, it just kind of came and went. And we're like, well,
20.
maybe 20. We'll do something.
So
But,
you got to do 20.
yeah, maybe I'll just kind of bust out the archives and have like
Dude,
a
just
little
an art show.
just
yeah.
all stuff we've printed for the years. It'd be
That'd
like a walkthrough time,
That'd be cool.
So yeah.
What so like walking around here with, looking around and being downstairs and kind of going through some of your posters you printed
Yeah.
for other artists and different things, like I'm so interested in just everything you get to touch as far as like the music and the movies and and events and things like that. Like what gets you super excited? Is it like a new movie poster that comes through, or more so the music side?
I mean, personally, I think everybody's got their own kind of like thing that gets them going, but I'm kind of really big on like when like the kind of perfect elements line up with like a band that I like and an artist that I like, and like hopefully like the middle people that make it all work. I like that, because they just have their shit together, and like there's some that come across your plate where you're like, okay, well, I know I'm gonna have to do all of this to make sure it comes out. But yeah, when those kind of perfect elements of like just the designer, the event, and the production company, like, or whoever's managing that come together, it's a great thing. So I also really like hopping on like tours and like producing like 20 of a band's event, and you're drop shipping them everywhere. It's challenging, but it's really satisfying and a lot of really fulfilling at the end, you know. Cool. And you're like, dude, I've got a poster from every date of this show, like tour, you know.
That's wild.
You know, we're doing a bunch of work from My Morning Jacket and some Death Cab and the, you know, Postal Service shows that are happening. So, you know, stuff like that really gets me fired up.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I also really like doing stuff for big festivals. Like we just did one, the DKNG guys, which I'm sure you know those dudes. They lined us up for Harley Davidson had their 120th anniversary, and they had Foo Fighters and Green Day were the headliners. This show just happened in, I think it was May, and we did like 1,500 posters for it. It was sweet design. They put an emboss on it. Like that's the shit that gets me fired up. And I'm just like, man, like the bands, the designers, the event. When those three things come together, you're just like, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
That's cool. And that one with DKNG and Harley.
You know, but we give just as much attention to kind of like somebody that comes in and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, or like I need 100 prints or 50 prints. You know, we try and we're not like really kind of snobby or like selective about that, because our knowledge, I feel like, is good for any designers or printmakers or people that are interested in it. So
for sure.
And I'm not a fan of people that keep it all, you know, under. In my opinion, share the information. If it helps somebody, great. They'll remember you and they'll come back around.
That's
so
cool.
We really try and kind of treat everybody with the same respect of
that's great.
Whatever their level is. So
that's cool. Yeah, because walking around here, just not only like the movie posters and things like that, but the artists you get to work with, like even seeing like Dan Mumford's you know, poster that you were just showing me, like that guy. I followed him forever, and just
back when he was doing emo band, like records and shit, and like, you know, T-shirts. That's where he started, and then it's like, it's awesome seeing people's path, you know.
For sure. Yeah. And everybody's, you know, still doing it, making a living, and like, what more could you ask for?
We haven't been replaced by AI yet.
Right. You can't. No.
People ask me all the time, are you worried about that? I'm like, dude, we make stuff in person. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how could I ever be like, I'm not intimidated by it.
No.
You know,
No.
You think AI is going to generate a print file? No.
No, if anything, it's like, the way I look at it is like, those things just make everybody appreciate more. The hand feel, the texture, you know, what you have going on downstairs, you know, that things are actually tactile and you're getting a physical product, you know. To me, the more it goes in the AI direction and computer generated shit and everything, the more people are going to fall back on like, hey, I'm into antiques, I'm into stuff that's hand printed. You know, so
absolutely, and I think the AI stuff has its place.
It does.
You know, it does, and I think it could speed up things and cut this down and whatnot. And but you know, it's kind of scary too.
It is,
But you know, we don't need to get too far into it.
No, for sure. So what do you guys got going on right now? So you guys are pumping out posters.
Yep, we got a lot of tour posters going on. We're getting into the throes of this back end of the My Morning Jacket tour, which the schedule is like stacked with My Morning Jacket jobs for a while now. And then come late October, we're starting to help Dan Mumford out with his holiday show that he comes to LA and does at 1988.
That's cool.
He's done that like 5 or 6 years in a row.
Damn.
I mean, you take 10 or 12 of his designs and there's 6, 7, 8 colors a piece. I mean, do the math, you know, you're like, wow, that's 80 setups.
Jesus.
You know?
Yeah.
And my guys are, you know, like, it's kind of boring, you know, it's like really repetitive. I don't want to say boring, but it's like, it's really repetitive until that last color goes down. And then it's just like magic, you know? So sometimes it'll be 2 or 3 days of work before you see the thing come together, which is cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Control P and the thing just comes out done.
Exactly.
So that's another really satisfying part of the job, for sure.
And that is like a fine art print. You know, that is a collector's piece. Like, people are going to pay good money for that.
And that's the edition. You know, that's it. We don't reprint stuff. I mean, occasionally we'll have something that's, you know, did really well, but they'll always change something about it.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it's the second edition or something like that.
Yeah. It's cool. So tell me a little bit about your design career. We got some snowboards over here. I didn't know you kind of dug into the snowboard industry a little bit, did some snowboard design.
That was always a dream. I always remember when I was in college. So I have my degree in visual communications, emphasis in graphic design.
Gotcha.
But I was always spending just as much time in the print studio, you know, printmaking department. as I was in design. And, you know, my teachers, I don't feel like they knew, like, where are you going to go with this? You know, and they're like, I think you're going to put a portfolio together and go interview at design. And I'm like, that's not my bag. Like, I got to make this stuff. Like, and so, you know, I'll never forget. I like to tell the story. I'll try and keep it short, but if you're familiar with gig posters or basically flat stock, right, is what the term is. But there's poster shows that happen called flat stock. They happen at South by Southwest, Pitchfork Music Festival, Bumbershoot, which finally came back this year. They did it at Bumbershoot again. It disappeared for a little while, but they do them at Reeperbahn Festival in Germany, and it's my industry, right? It's all the players in there, and they're all there setting up their booth and selling rock and roll posters. It's the coolest fucking thing in the world, in my opinion. Yeah. I always want to go to but Flatstock. The first one I went to was Flatstock 7. And I remember like walking into it, and I was just, you know, I was probably 25 years old, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. But I knew what I liked, right? And I was into design, I was into music, and I was into printmaking. And I was like, just, how do I put these things together? And then I walked into a flat stock, and I saw these poster artists, like, making gig posters, making tour posters, working with bands. So it was all music, design, and printmaking. And
all three.
That was the end of it. Like, that was the beginning of, I know what my career is. Yeah. And so, then after that, it was just like a lot of like late nights pulling squeegees and just figuring it out. That's but cool. Been running this thing since I was 26 years old. Damn. Like 2 years out of college, started doing it, and like.
And it's worked.
It's still working.
Yeah.
You're I got a house and some kids and
you support
all
yourself
those things. So,
and the family. And that's
that's
awesome.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
That's
so
cool.
I'm excited to see, you know, hit 20 years and whatever happens past that.
Yeah, what does another 10 look like and you hit 30?
I don't know.
Keep it rolling.
Yep.
But not even, I mean, the poster thing is obviously amazing, and you guys are, you know, known for that for sure. But like being downstairs, the letterpress, like let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Because I love, like, all of our business cards, the last 3 have been letterpressed. And our badges for Into the Woods were were letterpress, you know. Like, I love that kind of medium. Yeah. And you turn the press on downstairs just so we can see that thing run, because they're so rad. Yeah. And then like these labels I have in front of me, and just kind of that foil stamping, letterpressing, like, is such a rad, almost lost art, you know. We were looking at your machines downstairs, and you said the one was one of the last ones made in like 1980. Yep. Right? Now they're not even making those machines, you know.
There's a finite number of them out there, you know, and that serial number is, you know, it's an indicator of the year it was made, and, you know, like, dude, when I was first getting started, there was this old dude, his name was Ham Smith, right? The guy was like 80 years old, and he's like a local, like, kind of like legend. He used, you know, he kept working because he was like, if I just sit at home, like, my wife's going to kill me. Like, I need to keep doing this, you know. They're the wife. Yeah, like, but it's like, I get it, dude, you know, and he's like, I just need to keep working. If I just go and sit on the couch all day, I'm going to die. Yeah. But so I have a big printing sign down there. I got that out of his, but he used to work for Heidelberg, right? And he used to install presses. Wow. Well, Heidelberg, you know, they stopped making that stuff in like the late 80s or mid 80s, I think. I'm probably botching dates and stuff. But so what he did is he started getting into kind of like equipment, like dealing and stuff. I call it hoarding because I've seen his play. Like he passed away, but man, you used to be able to go to his place. He had like a 10,000 square foot facility of just like letterpress stuff. And what he made money in after, like, because it hit a lull, you know, letterpress wasn't cool in the 90s, right? You know, I mean, there was a couple people doing it, but like he was like buying up old equipment and shipping it down to like Peru in containers or something like that. Because the equipment's still good. Yeah. But, you know, everything here was kind of going digital, and like nobody's like, I don't want to buy that 5,000 pound press, but like, they're, you know, South America was like, we'll take them. Yeah. So I used to love going over to his like warehouse of just hoarded like pallets of type and like, you know, all those cuts that I was showing you down there. And like, I got that printing sign and like, you know, all those stone tables and stuff. Like, you know, you never realize it when you're in it. And you're like, this is great. You know, this is so awesome. And then you're like, he's gone now. And all that stuff's gone now. And like how special that little teeny tiny moment in time was that you're like, for a few years I got to go over there and just kind of like rummage through stuff. And I'd be like, I want these chairs and I want this type and I want that, and he'd be like, yeah, just give me $100. And you're like, okay, dude.
Great deal.
Yeah, sweet, I'm in.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, that's what I love about what you guys are doing here is the quality of the artists, what you guys are doing with the posters as well as the letterpress.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, and you know, we were kind of talking. You asked me about my design career earlier. Like, I really kind of put it on hiatus for a while. You know, it was kind of like we started printing all these posters, and I was designing and selling stuff up, and you know, and then like there was just this opportunity to like really take the print shop to like the next level, and I had, you know, 2 little kids at the time too. So I was like, I really kind of like put my design career like off, and I was like, I know this is because, you know, printing is, you know, very objective, right? Design is subjective. You get people's opinions into it, right? As a printmaker, I can be very objective. Like, here's a certain set of variables that I need to execute, and I'm gonna do it the best I can. I can make money repeatedly doing that. I would get hammered down with, you know, design stuff of like edits and people's opinions and stuff.
Tell me about it.
And I think that, no, I think you really start to realize what kind of a designer you are. Right. And you know what I get the most enjoyment out of is designing something that I think is fucking cool and selling it, right? There's nobody telling me what, like, this, do that, you know, like
changes,
you know, and it comes out the way that I want it to. And that's what gives me fulfillment. So like through that whole process, I realized like what type of designer I am too. I like to design for myself. If I fuck something up or it doesn't sell, it's on my shoulders. It's not some client's money or whatever. Like, it's on me, and I'll take that and I'll learn from it. And so now I'm kind of in this like later half of my career. I'm like, the print shop, I got guys running this place. And not that I want to be not involved in it, but like I have a new opportunity in like the back half of my career to do the design that I want to do.
That's cool.
So that's where I'm at now, and I'm stoked about it.
You have some stuff up on your website. Yeah, that's a whole section of your work.
Yeah, a whole section of my work, and like I'm starting to do live events and shows, and I've kind of like trickled into it, and I'm just selling my stuff that I create.
That's great.
Like,
awesome.
the way people have like received it, and like the conversations, it's just like, because it's way different than what I was doing when I was in my 20s and just doing gig posters all the time. You know,
it's evolved. Yeah,
so
it's cool.
Yeah, and I'm taking all of that experience of learning all that printing stuff, and it's going right into it now. So
that's cool. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you letting us come here and kind of crash your party. And
I'm happy to have
you have one of our posters on press. We did kind of a little poster.
We did, yeah.
We're going to actually take to Adobe Max. Yeah. But yeah, stoked you guys are printing that for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Well, cool, man.
Appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we're going to do some more stuff.
Sounds good.
Right on, Dad.
All right, bud.
Thanks, buddy.